if you ever get a chance to come to Beijing, then you'll find out that Beijing has got some amazing places to walk around. One of the best places, my favourite, is down here at the lake area. So you'll see here just in front of me the lakes. Now in Beijing there's a series of lakes. If you look at, say, where the Forbidden City is, around that area, you'll see that there's a number of lakes running up the side of where the central axis is. So Forbidden City, Tiananmen Square, up that way. So going from south to north, you have Nanhai, and then it goes into the Middle Sea, and then you go into Beihai Lake, and then you'll go to where I am at the moment, which is Xihai, and we're going to walk around Xihai Lake and then up towards Xihai and up to the top end of the lakes, which is Xihai Sea. You'll see it's a beautiful look. I'm just testing this 360-degree camera today, so hopefully you'll be able to see how beautiful Beijing is. It's a Sunday morning, just gone 9, and you'll see the lake area, local area, a number of people walking around this beautiful scenery. I'm going to stop and start the camera, pinpoint a few key areas, but it's a fair old walk. Hope to do it maybe in a couple of hours or so. Key areas to look at when you get here is to look towards, from this point of view, look towards, you can probably see at the distance here, the Bell and Drum Tower. Now you would have saw that in many of my videos. A lovely community around there. You should go there, visit Beijing. But you can see as you walk around this side of the lake, the Drum and Bell Tower in the distance, and then ahead of us here, as we go up the side of this lake, you go into, I think it's Yinding Bridge. But as you pass by early morning, quite often in the lake area you'll see some swimmers. So you'll see some guys here in the lake swimming. Not sure how safe it is, but each to their own, I would guess. Actually, I may have said that wrong, because this is a Yinding Bridge just ahead of me here, walking on some wonky pavement, but just ahead of me you'll see Chinese flag, but that's Yinding Bridge. Maybe in a few weeks' time, everywhere you go, you'll look at lakes, you'll see the lotus leaves. But we're heading up to this bridge here. We're going to just walk over and then head back up the side of this lake, and it comes into a pinch point around a very famous bridge. So we're walking up the side of Xihai Lake and we're heading towards Yinding Bridge. And I noticed I've got a ladder ahead of me, and I'm not keen on walking under a ladder, so hopefully I can walk back. But you can have a look at the lake. Stunning. What you notice is how well kept everything is. Super tidy. They're trimming the trees, cleaning the streets, no graffiti. Everyone's just safe, getting on with life on a beautiful Sunday morning here in Beijing. So you'll see just ahead, it's Yinding Bridge here in the lake part of Beijing. Xihai, if you're interested, you can get a car or get off at Xihai metro station, which will bring you close to here, and then it's just a simple walk around. Follow the map. These days, GPS and maps on phones, very easy to get around. Same as in Beijing, it's easy to get around if you're using the metro, which is outstanding, or even jumping in and out of DDs, which basically Uber, super cheap. So this is a famous Yinding Bridge, but we're not stopping for long. We're going to go up the right hand side of this lake here, which I'll connect with you in a bit. So this is Xihai Lake. We're going to go walking around the side of this. During the winter this gets iced over and there'll be ice skating on here, although this winter it was very thin ice, not that cold, so not a lot of ice skating. So this is another area where they go swimming here at the lake. And the other thing I'm hearing as I walk around is there's a lot of foreigners now in Beijing visiting, which is great. I'm hearing different accents from German, English, Italian, so Italian, or heard Italian. So this is great. Love the fact that many people are making that journey in to see Beijing. As we come around this part of the lake, Xihai, we head towards this building which is just behind these trees here. I think it's called Xihai Wanghai building. It's actually started off as a part of a temple which is close by, but means I come away from the park or the lake area here towards a park. But I'm going to stay on the lake. So this is Xihai Wanghai building. I think it's a part, definitely I know it's a part of a temple area close by. But I love this part where you just come off the side of the lake a little bit and walk through a lovely sculpted gardening area. Probably speed up a little bit of a walk, conscious of this camera. It has a tendency to overheat, so I'm still trying to make up my mind about it, hence why I'm out walking today. But look at that, stunning.要站到那个桥那里，搞人一点。拍一下。
那里头还有呢。啊，两个。对呀。
One of the things you do see when you're walking around the lake is pockets of local activities, local communities doing different activities, whether that's sports, keep fit, swimming in the lake, just out playing board games. I have to say, a lot of older people, very fit, very active. When you get to the top end of this part of the lake, this is Xihai Lake, we actually come off a little bit here, go through a small Hutong area and then into another lake that opens up once again. So like I've said, there's a number of different lakes here running up the centre of Beijing. As you come away from the Xihai Lake, you come through this small Hutong area, lovely and clean, and we head across a busy road up the side of another part of this Hutong area. Then it opens up into Xihai Sea. No idea why it's called a sea. I'm sure someone will tell me. But yeah, we're heading towards another part of this succession of lakes and what is a lovely walk. My mate Donkey who has a fantastic channel about walking in Scotland. I'll share that link somewhere, here somewhere. But he would have his long 360-degree pole attached to the camera, and he would be shooting amazing shots from under this bridge and so on. Me, don't have that with me, so gonna have to just have a look at the normal 360-degree shot and some nice little pieces of architecture and design here. So we come away from the small Hutong walkthrough and it opens up into Xihai Sea. Not sure why. It's hot, getting hot and sweaty. Maybe stop for a drink of water, but it's beautiful here. Somebody was asking on the video the other day about the Beijing bikini back there. This part of the lake is actually a bird sanctuary. It's protected, so you see a lot of different birds. I'm not a bird watcher, quite sure if you were, you would come here and you would see a whole array of different species. You can actually hear them chirping away. There's an island here, 2 or 3 islands in the middle here, which is all part of that area, the bird sanctuary. Around this side of the lake we actually head up towards a monument which is dedicated to the guy who invented or designed the Beijing waterway system, because Beijing is actually very dry. So there was a guy who invented how to pull the water from way north of the city, from the mountains, and run it through just using the gravitational pull, run it through Beijing, and hence we have the lakes and we have running water and so on in Beijing. And in its day it was a magnificent feat of design. So this is the top of Xihai Lake, and this is the garden area which is dedicated to the guy who designed the waterworks and the run-in and through Beijing all these years ago. There's actually a museum dedicated to him at the top of this hill. So if you're in Beijing and you want to see a little bit more off the beaten track museums and some other things that maybe other people wouldn't come and see, then come here. As I said, this is an amazing walk around a stunning area of Beijing, and here's just a little highlight. I'm not going to go there, I've been there before actually. I've been up to the top end of the lake. There's more to go, but we're going to turn back and head back on ourselves to where we started. But this is the guy here to the right of me who designed the waterway system that feeds Beijing. And a lovely little museum up the top of this hill area dedicated to him. Peaceful area. Glad I came out this morning. I wasn't feeling the best. No idea why. Didn't sleep too much. A few things in my mind which I'll share with you at some point coming up, because there is some changes heading our way, which is heartbreaking in one sense, but maybe a good adventure in the other. So I'll share with you closer to the time when it's all confirmed. Meanwhile, while I'm here in Beijing, I will be enjoying the beautiful walks. Just realised this is actually a museum here, or an art gallery, freshly built. I think I remember seeing it getting built last year. But like I said, if you go north of this lake, then you start to go into the river system, and you can go a number of different ways, but we're not going to go that way today. We're going to head back round the lake. At the start of the Xihai Sea. I'm going to come to that busy road again and then cross over back into the other side of the lake area. So we've crossed the busy road and we're heading back towards Xihai. Then down the side, the right hand side of Xihai, and back to where we began. I think the whole thing's about 7 kilometres, maybe take you a couple of hours if you go Beijing pace. Ian pace, I would probably have done it in an hour, but that's why I end up hot and bothered and sweaty. Not today. Peaceful Sunday, that's the plan. Take it easy.
我们那个好像3天。他今天要跟完，然后起来。哎，我一看，我说这路高高的。
A couple of things you notice when you're walking around the lake is the amount of bikes and stuff, belongings that are just sitting around. Again, super safe in Beijing. And also the amount of people that's fishing. I see a lot of people fishing, but I never see anyone catching any fish. So I'm not sure if it's just a reason to come here and sit peacefully, or whether people actually catch fish. Still yet to see it happen, who knows.
Welcome to China.
The other thing you hear as you walk around, I don't know if you can hear it here, there's music playing. So everywhere you walk, in parks or around the lake here, you hear music playing. There's obviously speakers or so around the public areas, and you'll hear music playing. That, and also you'll hear a lot of people playing musical instruments, and they come down here, possibly because they're living in local neighbourhoods where creating any noise may cause an issue, so they come down here and practice. So quite often when you're walking around, you're going to hear and see people playing various musical instruments. When I do this walk, it's often in the afternoon. I will come off this lake area and go to there's a Hutong here. There's a lovely restaurant. It's called Peach. Great food. There's a high quality restaurant attached to it called Fork, I think it's called, which again is high quality. So if you are coming this route, then look on the map, head towards Peach. It's just at this area. It's the right hand side and a nice little Hutong, and you'll get some great food and good beer and good coffee. I would also point out that there is a lot of trees that make the laneway, the walkway, tight. So take that into consideration if you are coming this way, and say for instance you're on a wheelchair, it may be quite tight. So a little bit of a negative there. So if you do decide to come to the lake and you want to head up towards that restaurant I was talking about, then you can just come off at this piece here and you head up this Hutong area, this street here, and you'll find Peach, the restaurant, up here on the right hand side. It's actually part of a hotel complex. You also find the Fork restaurant, which is a high class restaurant. Food is excellent. There once very expensive, but it is the bee's knees. I nearly said something else there. Then down towards Yinding Bridge, away from this part of the lake, which is Xihai, and we're heading to the last part, Xihai, where we get to the end piece, where we started. This part of the lake, actually next to the small famous bridge, usually has, or does have, lots of bars, music bars and stuff that open in the evening. Not that expensive, you would imagine, because it is a local tourist area. People would get ripped off, but it's not that bad. Live music, kind of finger food, nothing amazing. One or two restaurants will sell you something okay, but most of it's just fried chicken or something, and noodles or whatever, and then beer. But good live music, good atmosphere. You come, especially in a summer evening, summer late at night, it's usually full of good fun. Not known for lots of drunken violence, Beijing, in fact never seen any. So again, you will be safe if you do decide to come out of an evening and enjoy a few beers. So by now you're probably familiar with the different parts of the lake. This is Xihai, because we are coming back to where we started from. And you may have seen a video during the Year of the Dragon, where we had an amazing lit up dragon that runs down the side of a kind of walking area. This is where that is, down ahead of me here.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to grey as you fade away, as you fade away.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away, cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Gotta build up of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry that I'm so...
So if you did happen to see the dragon light, the massive dragon light that was in a previous video for the Year of the Dragon, and this is exactly where it was. We've now taken it down. It was up here, and then the head, as you came round this part here, the head was right there, and I have to say it was pretty spectacular. So that's it, we have come full circle. Started earlier this morning here. It's about 7 kilometres, just checked my stepometer, and it's about 7 kilometres. You can actually take a few detours, maybe take you a couple of hours. Very enjoyable walk, I recommend it.